HBox not fighting at all. Air dodging of all things.
Oh my god, and Zain double jumping in spin place twice.
Yeah. The adrenaline pumping through these players' bodies must be insane.
Tried to catch him with the up air, going real high.
Oh, that's gonna be it! Zain! And Zain takes Genesis 7 to...
After more than 2 years and multiple reschedulings, Melee's Capstone Tournament Series is set to return this weekend. Nothing comes close to the expectations for Genesis, where we'll finally get a chance to see the world's best duke it out facing the purest obstacles in Melee competition. 3 days of grueling open bracket, over-expensive convention center food, and a constant battle against the venue air conditioning. Sincerely, there's nothing better. A rebirth is on the horizon, so let's look at the 8 stats that we think will define Genesis 8. Let's start off with an easy one. In the 7 editions of Genesis that we've been graced with so far, 5 different players have managed to clinch total victory. Armada, of course, is the king of the series, with Genesis 2 through 4 all to his name. Other than him, no single player has managed to win Genesis multiple times. We've got Mango's rest heard round the world at the original, Plup's ascension at G5, Hungrybox's dominant Genesis 6 run, and Zain's coronation at Genesis 7. Will one of these players manage to break this pattern, or will we see it continued with another new Genesis victor? There are certainly some contenders in the mix, and plenty of glory to be won in the middle stages of bracket. Speaking of Armada, those eagle-eyed prognosticators reviewing the Melee seeding will notice that Polish has snagged a top 8 seed, edging out Hungrybox and becoming the first Peach main since Armada's retirement at Super Smash Con 2018 to be placed that highly at a Super Major. At this point, everyone knows about Polish's Smash World Tour runs and 2-0 record on HBox. And if seeding plays out as it is currently, they're set to further demonstrate their mastery in a matchup once thought undoable. At that point, they'd likely play for Winners Top 8 in their first ever match against Mango, who hasn't lost to a Peach since EVO 2018. No prizes for guessing who. However, Polish's biggest roadblock may come earlier. If all goes according to seeding, their first top 64 match is set against a player uniquely set to give them trouble: Zamu. While Polish has won their last 2 encounters, Zamu boasts a 5-2 record lifetime in the head-to-head. Zamu's biggest tournament win came against Polish's closest contender for top Peach, Triff, when Zamu journeyed to Germany and managed to double eliminate Spain's number 1. Zamu isn't a total Peach slayer. He's got a 0-5 record against Lod, but it's certainly a matchup where he can flex his potential. Polish's level up has been astonishing, but it remains to be seen if any player can bring Peach to the level Armada once did. That said, Armada never beat Hungrybox. Speaking of which, if you've been following Hungrybox's gameplay, you might assume that this is in favor of his offline results. However, it's actually the other way around. HBox has a 72% win rate offline and 84% online. To be clear, we're only counting results since July 25th, 2021. If that feels arbitrary, don't worry. We have reasons.
I should switch to a wire headset. Bluetooth headphones at 12 frames of audio delay becomes impossible to react to Foxbox side B. Oh.
Let's narrow down the options.
That's probably pretty important.
Turns out adding 12 frames of audio delay may make you worse at the video game. However, this win rate is obviously skewed. Offline, HBox is playing in summits with no pool fodder to chew through. To flatten the playing field, let's disregard all of his sets played against players who wouldn't be around top 50 level. This really is a bit arbitrary, but it drops his online win rate to 77% and his offline win rate to 63%, an even bigger gap than before. However, we can still see scrolling through his losses that the concentration of top players offline is way stronger than online. So let's get less arbitrary. Let's just look at the set losses he does have. Here's the takeaway. Online, he's got an overall good record against players in the top 50 to top 20 range, which accounts for his higher win rate. This is the level of players more likely to show up to netplay tournaments, and HBox usually wins, but is still prone to dropping the odd set to players who can't touch him offline. In the few offline tournaments HBox has been to, he's played plenty of top 20 players who wouldn't look all that out of place on that list of losses, and come out on top of all of them. There's a simple fact. Offline, Hungrybox doesn't lose to anyone outside of the top 10. That said, his own path to top 8 at Genesis is a shaky one. We already know about Polish, but HBox's first top 64 match is also set to be one with plenty of history. Ben. Ben is responsible for a whopping 44% of Hungrybox's game losses to Sheik in our database. In early quarantine days, Ben totally had HBox's number, but the set count has swung back to 9-9, and HBox has won their last 3 sets in a row. If seeding holds, Genesis will be the tiebreaker, and we can only hope for a repeat of their other in-person tango at Riptide, which went all the way to Game 5.
Very painful for Ben. HBox with the massive pop-off.
Keep your eyes on this region of bracket. It's an interesting one, even without looking at Mango and the Swooper. But that leads to our next stat. As the 32nd seed in the bracket, the Swooper is where the cutoff begins to break this record, which was set by Ginger at Genesis 6 after benefiting from a Leffen DQ. 31st seed at this event is Soof, and Zain seems less likely to spontaneously drop. It's hard to ever predict these long upset runs just from looking at the bracket. Other low seeds include 30th seed Nintendude at Genesis 3, who famously wobbled M2K to a spot in top 8, and Shroom's Resurgence at 29th seed at Genesis 7, which came about through great play and a dash of good luck when Axe and M2K were upset earlier. Just something about that 30th seed range. This year, it's Panda who was responsible for Axe's early exit from winners at G7, and 29th and 28th seed are longtime veterans KJH and Chudat, both of whom could feasibly make big upsets. Bonus stat, the lowest seeds to ever make winner's side? In the modern era, it's PewPew at 13th seed, a slot occupied this time by Lod. But at Genesis 2, Taj made a run all the way to 3rd place from, once again, 30th seed. And if Leffen DQs, well, then we've got an Ice Climbers Peach Pikachu quadrant that suddenly looks a lot more interesting. We've looked at some of the midfield. Let's move on to the top contenders for the event. Who we love so much, who is the absolute best boy in the world, you little muffin, you little nugget of joy and love. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Oh, you are. You. Okay. There's a myriad of ways you can associate Leffen with the number 4, 4th seed at the event, or maybe 4 appearances at Genesis before this, or we could say he beat Mango by 4 games in their show match at Genesis, and did the same to Zain, winning 4 straight games on Final Destination with his Sheik. It's unclear whether Leffen's responsibilities as a new dog dad are going to keep him from Genesis or not, and show matches always come with an asterisk. But as always, Leffen's a threat, time away from Melee or not. We're eager to see if he can repeat those performances in actual competition, but from all of us at PGstats, if Leffen spends time with a different orange and white canine than his main this weekend, then we won't be complaining. Just make sure to post more pics of Toto. This might look like a dig at iBDW, but we guarantee it's not. Here's a fun stat for you. For every open bracket major series in which he's ever participated, iBDW has never performed worse one year than the year before. He occasionally had steps back at Smash Summit, but in every other major he either ties or improves upon his placement at the previous installment. Take Genesis as an example, where iBDW finished 33rd in 2018, 25th in 2019, and 13th in 2020. If the pattern holds, we can expect iBDW to improve upon that 13th place, but to be honest, anything outside of top 8 would probably be a disappointment to him. As winner of the last offline major with the top 2 in attendance, iBDW's stock is at an all-time high. But Summit is a different beast than Genesis. iBDW's win at Riptide earlier in the season proved that his competitive mentality has developed to a point where he can deliver on any type of stage, and his recent dedication to grinding online tournaments has given him a chance to stay warm. All that's missing from iBDW's resume is a win at a tournament of this size with the 2 best players in the world in attendance. This weekend could be his chance to round out what is already a stunning career and potentially become the next in a long line of first-time Genesis winners. And of course, that brings us to our 2 stars of the show. Mango and Zain's rivalry has been the story of Pandemic Melee, but all of their showdowns have taken place in either invitational or online formats. Where Zain attended the Smash World Tour East Coast Finals in his backyard, Mango's offline appearances have been limited to summits. As such, the last time they were ever at a tournament of this size and caliber was January 26, 2020, Genesis 7. Mango's winning record in the last season garnered him the number 1 spot on the PGR Contenders ranking, and he only dropped a single offline set to Zain during all of Pandemic at Summit 12, after which he promptly 3-1'd him in Losers Finals before taking second to iBDW. Zain's last offline victory that stuck? Genesis 7, of course, in Winners Finals en route to a Super Major victory. This is Mango's chance to prove that his number 1 status will hold steady, and to finally win that second Genesis, a trophy he's been clamoring for since his first win almost 13 years ago. By the numbers, Mango's the favorite, but there's one more stat we still have to get to. Open bracket tournaments are a totally different beast than the invitationals and net play tournaments that have defined our quarantine. You have to manage your stamina, find places for practice and reflection, even just being surrounded by so many people can take its toll. But the biggest difference, without a doubt, is that you have an absolutely massive pool of players against which you have to prepare. And when it comes to consistency against the field, absolutely nobody does it like Zain. In the past year, Zain has only lost to 3 players in the world: Mango, iBDW, and Wizrobe. For comparison's sake, take a look at the numbers on the other top 10 seeds of the tournament. These numbers of course vary depending on the type of competition. Leffen's an obvious outlier because of his low attendance, while HBox is out here entering 20 netplay tournaments a month. But what's clear is that Zain is unique in his ability to not lose to anyone outside of the best of the best. In the past, Zain has had a few pain matchups, but he's largely dominated the recent meetings. A 4-set win streak on Plup and 9 on HBox seem to have set those issues to rest, and though he lost to Wizrobe in their most recent meeting, he's largely improved in that matchup as well. The great bracket demon, of course, is Axe, but with the Pikachu's slumping season, it looks unlikely that Zain will ever need to deal with the Rat. Maybe he runs into trouble with Wizzy, maybe Leffen, certainly Mango and iBDW, but other than that, Zain's got no one to fear. Genesis is at over 1,500 competitors in singles. Zain held off the field at Genesis 7, he did it again at the biggest tournament of all time in LACS 4, and he's well set to do it again here. Zain may not be first seed, but he's a smart gambler's pick. Then again, what Mango fan is ever a smart gambler? To be a bit of an underdog, back against the wall, the chance for a massive loser's run which we could add into another video, it'd be a boring gamble on someone who seems guaranteed to win. There's something about Genesis that inexorably pulls players into the matches we audience members so desperately wish to see. And there's no doubt, this is the showdown everyone is clamoring for. There are plenty of other storylines we couldn't get to. Plup's got a great shot at repeating at Genesis, AmSA's hunting for that miracle bracket to give him a first ever Super Major win, and moky's looking to prove his seeding wrong by following up on his string of incredible online wins. In the depths of bracket, elbow to elbow with competitors, it's chaotic, uncertain, impossible to predict what will happen. How lucky we are to feel it again. See you at Genesis. Hey, thanks for watching. If you want more content like this, please check out PGstats.com and follow us for more information. This has been Turned Down for Walt. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.